Hey guys, Jet Set and Jen here. Just dropping in today so we could quickly talk about Virgin Voyages. So if you've never heard of Virgin Voyages, they are a new cruise line that is run by Richard Branson, if you're familiar with the Virgin Hotel Group. And we went on them about 2 years ago, and I wanted to just drop in and tell you guys all the pros and cons. So let's get into it. So first of all, the most important pro that you're going to see here with Virgin Voyages is that they include basic Wi-Fi, tips, and sparkling or still water in your stateroom every day. And that is just part of a normal cruise fare. Okay. You're also going to see that their balconies have a hammock. So this is something new. We haven't seen anyone else do this yet. Very cool feature, but of course, only in balconies or above. So if you have an interior or an ocean view, you're not going to see that feature, but it is very cool. You're also going to see, as soon as you get on, the very modern and stylish kind of vibe they have going on. You're not going to see any cruise art. There's no art auction on this ship. So a little bit different than traditional cruising. And following on that point, you're also going to see the fact that they do not have any type of main dining. So they have specialty dining, but everything's included. They have very special restaurants, and they also have like a Lido deck, but there's no buffet. It's more like quick service, and they have a lot of options. So variety, 10 out of 10 on this cruise. But what I will say is when we get to the cons in a second, that the food definitely had some issues. So continuing on in the positives, sorry, I'm just referencing my notes. We do have an adult-only ship. So 18 and over, you're not going to see water slides. You're not going to see a kids camp. You're not going to see any children. So of course that appeals to a certain demographic. I would say the average age on this ship was probably between 55 and 60. I really got the vibe that this is kind of a ship, or at least maybe for the itinerary we were on, that a lot of people who are like still young at heart, want to party, want, to go to hang out with the DJ and gamble in the casino, but not see any kids. This was kind of their definitely their product. So we were one of the youngest people on the ship at 30, mid 30s, I would say. We're the youngest people on the ship, but I mean, you only have to be 18 and over to go on, so keep that in mind. Now let's talk about some cons. So first of all, I did mention the specialty restaurants. So the specialty restaurants are very cool. There's a Mexican one, there's a steakhouse, there's a test kitchen, if you're familiar with that. And then of course, like I said, upstairs, there's the Lido deck. There's quite a few options. There's also a Korean barbecue, I believe. We actually tried all of them. You do have to make reservations for them. So sometimes that can be annoying, because if you've never been on them, then you obviously want to try one of each, right? But if they're already at capacity for those days, maybe you won't you won't be able to try all of them. So I would say that is kind of something that they're, I think, still working on. They're trying to work out the kinks with that. But I will say some of these specialty restaurants were very underwhelming. Our experience in, for example, the test kitchen was very underwhelming. The food was a little weird. It wasn't very good. It was kind of just okay. And I was like, why did we give up a second night in the steakhouse for this? Their steakhouse is excellent. The Mexican place was okay. They have like a diner kind of vibe place, which was also okay, more known for like their chicken and waffles and stuff. Their Italian restaurant was also just okay. So what I will say is it's also, the service was quite slow. And speaking of service, I do feel like the service generally was hit or miss. Like, I go to the Lido deck, and sometimes people were extremely happy to help. Sometimes they were annoyed to help us, and also the seating. Okay, so the problem with the Lido deck is these ships hold about a little over 2,000 people. They cannot all eat at the same time, even though it's quick service upstairs on the Lido deck, which is, what I'm calling the Lido deck. I'm sure they call it something else. And also, you cannot get a proper beverage package. So if you're a person that does drink a lot, or that just loves like to have the specialty coffee and the water bottles and, the non-alcoholic beers and I don't know, just juices and all these other items that you would normally get in a beverage package, you can't get it. You have to pay individually. monthly. So as you can imagine, that can get quite expensive, especially if there's 2 people in a room and you cannot get a beverage package whatsoever. And now circling back to that Wi-Fi that was included, yes, basic Wi-Fi is included. However, if you want to call someone on Facebook or WhatsApp, forget that. That's an additional charge. If you want to stream anything from Netflix or any other service, that's also not the basic Wi-Fi. So the basic Wi-Fi cannot do everything. It's really just minimal messaging. That's what I would call it. You could use iMessage, you could use WhatsApp messaging, Facebook messaging, but that's it. Physically a message, okay? You can't call anyone at home and connect. So definitely, take that in consideration. I had to pay $125 additional for the week, which is not terrible for those of you who cruise and you know how much Wi-Fi can cost on ships. But when they say it's included, you know what I mean? I just feel like it should just be included. But anyways, what else? If you don't love the music everywhere, I know some cruise lines do this, but their music was very loud and like kind of techno or like club-like in the elevators, in the hallways. So like you come out of your room at 7 a.m. or you go back in at 11 p.m., it doesn't matter. Like the music is kicking everywhere on the ship. And the last thing I will say is they are a newer brand, as I mentioned earlier. So you're going to have less cruise options as far as itinerary. You're going to have less ship options because they're all pretty much made the same and there's only 3 of them right now. So I'm sure more to come, and I'm sure same with itineraries as they grow their fleet and really get their niche going. I'm sure there's going to be more availability, but that is your honest review in under 7 minutes on Virgin Voyages. Have a great day, guys.